Good evening. I'm meteorologist Trevor Oliver with Putnam Weather and More, here to give you the latest weather info and news for Putnam County. Let's start by defining our weather word of the day, which is shelf cloud. Shelf cloud is a low-level, horizontal wedge-shaped Arcus cloud associated with the convective storms gust front or occasionally a cold front. And that's the definition according to the American Meteorological Society, or AMS for short. A shelf cloud is a part of the storm's base. Rising motion occurs at its leading or outer edge, giving it that smooth arced appearance, as you can see in the background image here. The underside of a shelf cloud is turbulent with a chaotic boiling appearance, and storm chasers often refer to that as the whale's mouth because it resembles the inside of a whale's mouth. It's a common misconception that a shelf cloud is a tornado precursor, but it is in fact not. But but a shelf cloud is often associated with straight line winds. Now, having defined our weather word of the day, let's switch topics to the tropics. Right now, we have quite a bit of activity in the tropics as indicated by this colorful map behind me. Let's start by discussing Gabrielle, which is now a hurricane. Gabrielle is starting to make that turn to the northeast that we discussed in previous videos, and by Tuesday morning, early Tuesday morning, it'll become a major hurricane. But shortly thereafter, it'll weaken back to a hurricane, and as it continues to northeast, it'll weaken and eventually dissipate. And because Gabrielle is starting to turn to the northeast, it's not going to come anywhere near the U.S. So don't worry about it at all. But we do have these other areas of interest to keep an eye on. We have these two areas of low pressure down here. There's one that's a bit closer to us, the one indicated in yellow, that has a less than 40% chance of developing over the next 7 days. So like Gabrielle, it's not much of a worry right now, but but still monitor it over these next few days. And then we have this other area of low pressure indicated in orange that has a 40 to 60% chance of developing over that same time frame. Now, it is a bit early to say what these areas of low pressure will do during that week long period. So much so that no spaghetti models are available to the public to show exactly where they'll go or how strong they'll become. Yeah, we'll have to wait until they become invest to get those models. But again, still keep track of these lows. Listen for any updates in my videos. I'll gladly update you myself. While we have a lull in the activity, prepare. Now let's get into our aerial forecast. Right now in Palaca, the skies are mostly clear and the temperature is 77 degrees. And of course, as we head into the later hours of tonight, that temperature will only continue to drop. It'll eventually reach a low of 71 degrees. And the probability of precipitation for tonight is only 10%. But as we head into the start of the week, the rain chances will increase a bit due to a front over southern Florida, a weak front lifting northward, bringing some moisture to our area, and northeasterly winds bringing some showers off the Atlantic into our area. But I wouldn't worry about storms a whole lot. Not until Friday, when the chances for rain will reach 50%. Yeah, that day storms will be a greater concern. And and as that day approaches, just keep in mind that saying. I know you've heard it so many times, but it's great. It's great advice. When thunder roars, go indoors. Now let's look at those temperatures. They'll be in the low to mid 90s this this week. That's higher than what's expected for this time of the year. You usually see temperatures uh, in that range during, well, August and, well, summer. Um, and given those overall low chances for rain and those highs, I would say heat will be a greater concern. And as I've said before, if you have to be outside at any point, make sure you have plenty of water available to you. And if at any point you feel overheated, find a shady area and sit in it and drink that water. And but let's look at those lows. They'll be much more comfortable. They'll be in the low 70s over the next 5 days. Now let's look at Crescent City. In Crescent City, the sky is currently clear and the temperature is 78 degrees. And tonight, the low will be 73 degrees. And there is also a 10% probability of precipitation there in Crescent City. Unlike Palaca, the rain chances in Crescent City won't reach 50% or greater at any point over the next 5 days. So y'all in Crescent City won't have to worry about storms as much. But I would worry about the heat more. And that brings me to the temperatures, specifically the highs. So they'll be in the upper 80s to lower 90s these next 5 days. Again, that's warmer than for this time of the year. And those lows, fortunately, they'll be in the low to mid 70s. Now let's finish with Interlaken. Right now in Interlaken, the skies are mostly clear and the temperature is 78 degrees. And that'll drop to a low of 69 degrees later tonight. And the probability of precipitation there in Interlaken is at 0%. So yeah, storms won't be a concern for y'all in Interlaken at all. But the same could be said for the other locations because 10% is still quite a low probability of precipitation. Now, it's the forecast is pretty much the same as the one for Crescent City, and at least in terms of the rain chances. At no point over the next 5 days will the probability or the rain chances reach 50% or greater in Interlaken. But just like in Crescent City, the heat will be a greater concern in Interlaken, given these highs. The highs will be in the low to mid 90s throughout the next few days. Again, that's something you expect to see during the summer, not in mid or late September, excuse me, when we're starting to get into fall. But those lows, those lovely lows, they'll be in the low 70s. So you do have those to look forward to, those comfortable temperatures. Now, to summarize a bit, the conditions will be while they will be drier, they'll be warmer. Um, and I know we could use relief from the heat, given the the hot summer we had this year. That we had several days with heat advisories, even a day with an extreme heat warning. But eventually that'll pass, as we have some cold fronts move in to our area later next week. So you have that to look forward to. Now, to close, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like or comment. Feedback is greatly encouraged. to improve future videos, and consider subscribing. And and if you are interested in storm chasing content, check out my X account at Trevor Oliver WX. That's where I post much of my storm chasing footage. And if you are a business owner who wishes to have their services or planned events advertised in any way, reach out to me in the comment section and we can work something out together. And once again, thank you so much for listening. And I've been meteorologist Trevor Oliver with Putnam Weather and More. Have a great night.